For some people, the scariest time of the year is Halloween. But for me, it's actually Thanksgiving and Christmas. And not for the reasons you might be thinking. A scary true story for me is being offered a mac and cheese fresh out the oven, taking a bite only to find out that they added coconut for a twist. I twisted my face into a frown, I spat it out and never spoke to them again. Reminds me I gotta renew the restraining order. If you've been in Chicago, anywhere between Howard and 163rd, you probably bumped into somebody who'd heard about my mac and cheese. I want to show you how to make a good old-fashioned classic baked mac and cheese. It's mac and cheese. I don't really think it needs more of an introduction, so let's go flex.
President sweet, looking like a young Barack Obama. Skipping to the beat, giving hella heat. I'ma need a seat just to count up all these dots in commas.
Now, this recipe is going to require some special equipment, but if there's something you don't have, there's always an easy workaround. You're gonna have to use one of these. Sorry about it. I always buy my cheese by the block and shred it myself. Shredded cheese from the store is coated in starch to keep the shreds from sticking together. I don't want any of that starch in my recipe, which could make it grainy, so I always shred my cheese fresh off the block. I'm using sharp cheddar for the taste and a good melting cheese like Buttercase or Havarti, which makes for the perfect cheesy mac and cheese. Once I have that shredded, I'm going to take half an onion and add that to the food processor. This is just for flavor. A secret ingredient, if you will, so I don't want any crunchy texture. If you're only working with a knife, then just cut it real fine. Keep going over it, smash it a few times. You want to release all that good onion liquid. Into a measuring cup, I'm pouring 3 cups whole milk or cream, then the pulverized onions. Now, let's move to the stove. While there are a lot of ideas about what mac and cheese is, at the end of the day, mac and cheese is nothing more than a cheddar-based bechamel sauce topping elbow macaroni pasta. So, as long as you think about it like that, this recipe should be easy to follow. But for real, there are a few fancy words in this recipe, and it takes a little time, but it's super easy to follow and the results are so worth it. We're going to start by making a traditional roux. A roux is just flour cooked in fat. It is the base of a lot of sauces because it helps thicken the sauce and gives it a smooth, creamy texture. We're starting with 3 tablespoons of flour and 3 tablespoons of mustard powder. I'm going to be cooking that over medium heat for 5 minutes with 3 tablespoons of butter. We're cooking it because we want to cook off the raw flavor from the flour. People don't think of this, but flour does have to be cooked, but it can burn easily, so please stay by the pot, babysit this. Keep stirring it. Once that 5 minutes is up, you're going to add your milk and onion mixture as well as your seasonings. I'm using a bay leaf, paprika, and white pepper. Another one of those secret ingredients. Trust me on this. I'm going to give that a good stir and let it come to a simmer. We're going to simmer this mixture for 10 minutes. In that time, you're going to see that milk start to thicken up as it mixes with that roux we cooked. After 10 minutes of simmering, our next step is a key step. It is a difference between regular macaroni and a baked macaroni. We need to temper an egg. Now, if you simply add an egg to this hot mixture, it's going to scramble and you're going to have scrambled eggs in your sauce. That is not what we are going for. So, after beating the egg, we are going to gradually add some of the sauce to the egg, stirring constantly until it comes to temperature, and then add the egg mixture back into the sauce. This is how we are able to add eggs to a hot sauce without it turning into scrambled eggs. There we have it. We're almost finished with this sauce. The only thing missing from our cheese sauce is the cheese. So, off heat. With the burner off, no flame whatsoever, we are going to melt the cheese using the leftover heat from our sauce. If you add your cheese while the fire is still on, the cheese is going to split, making the sauce greasy as opposed to velvety smooth. So, off heat, we're going to melt in all that beautiful cheese. I'm not adding all the cheese, I'm saving 1/4 of it for the top. A quick taste test, add any salt and pepper you might need, and let's move on to the pasta. For the pasta noodles, I'm bringing a pot of water to boil, but I'm adding another bay leaf and some crushed garlic. I'm adding that to the pasta water with some salt because I want to season the pasta water, which will in turn season the pasta. That flavor will infuse our pasta and give this flex that something extra. There's not really a secret to cooking pasta, except since we're going to bake it afterwards, you don't want to cook the pasta all the way. Read the package and figure out the shortest time the pasta needs to cook and cut it in half. So if it says cook the pasta 10 to 12 minutes, you're going to cook it for 5 minutes. The rest of the cook time is going to take place in the oven. The pasta will finish in the sauce. Final step is, of course, introduce the mac to the cheese. Hey Mac, I'm Cheese. How you doing? We are not putting breadcrumbs on here. I understand we want texture, but for texture, instead, we're gonna add more cheese. And as it cooks, that cheese on top is going to brown and add a nice crunch. The last step is to pop it into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes or until the center is bubbly and the top is starting to brown. And there you have it, one delicious homemade baked macaroni and cheese. Oh my God. We need some alone time, so I'll see you next flex.